Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. We are here today to discuss regrets in life.
Lots of regrets. 9 years later, we have a lot of regrets. And there's probably a lot of you guys on here that are, inshallah, getting ready to get married. And you probably want to hear our advice.
Wait a second. She said 9 years of regrets.
No, that's not what I meant.
That's what you said.
No, I meant like
9 years since we made a decision to get married, and we did it on other people's terms.
Yes.
And henceforth, we have a top regrets about how we got married.
Yes.
So stick around. We are going to do that. And stick around till the end of the video.
Yeah.
And we will give you our top advices on how you can make your marriage ceremony, whole organization. No? The whole thing. How you can make it better.
And we want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. We love doing these types of collaborations because it allows us to do what we do and keep doing what we do and create content for you guys. So huge thank you to HelloFresh. And stay tuned because we're going to be making this delicious tortellini pasta. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's so, so good. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be in the middle of this video. But yeah, we're going to do 5 points and 5 things that we regret for our wedding that we wish we wouldn't have done.
I wouldn't even say wedding. I would say marriage. Because our wedding was not even in the same month this is.
Yeah, that's true.
Multiple months this is.
So let's rewind. Let's start at number 1. So we got married a really long time ago, obviously 9 years. We had our nikah, alhamdulillah, the day of Arafah in a masjid. Very simple. Had our closest friends. And
some people I didn't even know.
Yeah, a couple people.
Some random uncles just came for some trouble.
It was not a lot of people. It was just a few people. And then we basically had our nikah.
Now, for people who don't know, that the nikah is the actual Islamic marriage.
Yeah.
So outside of the nikah, there's certain other things that we do. But in terms of the actual validity of your marriage, that's it.
That's all you need.
Literally all there is.
You just need the ceremony. It's basically I do. Exchange meher, done. That's pretty much it.
There's
literally in a nutshell how you get married.
There's no exchanging of the mahar.
No,
there is me
yes.
giving to her a gift of marriage.
Yes, if you guys want us to go into detail about that, I'm sure we can make a video down the road. But anyways.
All right.
So we did that.
Number 1 regret would be
the fact that we waited too long between our nikah. And there were months in between where we were married, but we weren't living together
like we were married.
Yeah, we weren't living like we were married. I mean, he did stay over at my parents' house a lot. We were in separate rooms.
Thanks for having me, Mom and Dad.
But yeah, regardless, we were 100% married. Mm-hmm. And I feel like our culture, like Pakistani culture
being the key.
And Arab culture too, a lot of different cultures, they think of nikah as an engagement, but it's not an engagement. It is straight up the marriage ceremony, and you are husband and wife after that point.
So rather than just fly the coop or, make things difficult for her parents, who definitely are, from Pakistan, so they're more of the culturalization. We just didn't want to rock the boat. It had been 5 years, that we waited to get married. And when we finally did, we were super excited. So we didn't want to kind of put anything off on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
And, for me, I think the number 1 thing would be so in between we had the nikah, and then we had I don't even know what you call them. We had the walima, which would be a feast put on by myself.
Yeah, we had the barat, which is like the bride's side of the family does the reception, and then before that is the mehendi, which is like the henna party. Regardless, it's a long day. It's like 4-day festivities, basically 4 or 5 days, and so there was a lot of things in there that we now regret.
So number 1 would be the separation of men and women.
Yeah.
I get it. Some people think that it's an Islamic thing or that it has to be that way. That is not the case. It is a difference of opinion about whether or not men and women should be separated. Again, at that particular time, I was fairly new as a practicing Muslim, only a couple of years. And the influence that I had was most definitely a very rigid type of influence. So I thought that's the way that it was supposed to be. So that I enforced that and made it to be such. It's my fault.
And I was new at wearing hijab at that time. At first, I wasn't too stoked about doing that because it didn't make sense to me. I was like, I'm not going to sit with you. I'm going to have to sit in a separate hall with just women. and he's gonna sit in a separate hall with just men, and like that's gonna be our wedding. Like we're not even gonna be together. But then I was obviously on board because I understood like his point of view at that time. He was very like strict on how he was practicing religion at that time, which is, it's not a bad thing. But looking back at it now, we did not enjoy our wedding. No. Like it was useless because we didn't enjoy it. So, you know, it was
so long as the event has a mixture of families together, and
like a
and
family here, family here.
Yeah,
family
there's no lewdness, there's no
dancing.
You know,
we didn't do any of that
going
anyway.
on.
Yeah.
Then it's fine.
Yeah.
So I really wish we would have done that.
Yeah.
Especially for my family, we're like, what the heck is going on here?
So the next point would be that we had no music at our wedding. At that time, we went years. I had tossed out all my burnt CDs. I had tossed out my MP3 player, my iPod, blah, 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 all that stuff. And we did nasheed only or voice only. And now, it was not even, you couldn't even hear it.
But even then,
so low.
We had one of the elders tell us we should turn it off because it sounds like it's music. Even
though there was no music in it.
Now, again, it's a difference of opinion whether you want to believe music is not allowed or it is allowed. It's a difference of opinion. There's no proof from the Quran. The Hadith are disputed. So you want to take one side versus the other as a layman, as a person who's just a regular person. You have the freedom to do that. And we as laymen have no right to kind of attack anybody for choosing one way or the other. So that, looking back now, would definitely, obviously we're a lot more, I wouldn't say lenient because again, it's what we believe.
We understand the religion differently now.
Correct. So we've come a long way in our understanding of our faith, and obviously it shows in that sense. So for sure, it would have been nice to have music instead of just like this.
Even if it was like piano or something like harmonious, like we don't like we're not talking about like hardcore like rap music, like disgusting words, like that's not stuff we listen to, but like something classical or just something wedding-ish. It was like dead silent, like pretty much. Some like even the nasheeds that we had were like very, very dead silent. But if you want to learn about the opinions of music, we will drop that in the description box below, like a fatwa that you can actually read and go into detail.
It's more of a research article where you can actually see the evidences from both sides and make up your own mind at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. And now we're going to dive into this amazing tortellini recipe. You're going to love it. And then we'll hop back and we'll talk to you about the last few regrets that we have. So if you're not new here, then you'll already know that we love HelloFresh meals. They are a meal service and they deliver meals right to our door. And one thing we love about this company is how sustainable they are. They have recyclable packaging, and these ice packs are reusable. We use them a lot in the summertime, and they're actually the first carbon neutral meal company to do this, which I'm just blown away from. Sustainability is a really big thing to us. So not just that, but their recipes are delicious, and they have over 55 weekly recipes to pick from with seasonal foods and fruits and veggies, pre-portioned ingredients that are picked at peak ripeness, so you'll know that everything that comes in these bags are literally ready to cook. This is actually a recipe I've cooked multiple times. It's one of my favorite recipes. It's the Mediterranean tortellini pasta. My kids love it. And one thing that makes me really happy about HelloFresh is the fact that not only does it save us money and time and stress, their recipes are delicious. Like, our kids love them, and our kids are really picky. So I make sure that I pick the meals that I know that they'll love, and they love them. They're really good. They're really fresh, and it helps us hit our goals in terms of eating like wholesome ingredients and meals. They always have these vegetarian options. They have fish options. They have pretty much everything. So there's something for everyone. The recipes are really easy to follow. They come with these like really cute recipe cards. So step by step, you cannot make any errors when you're cooking these meals. It's really easy to follow along, and everything is pre-portioned. So you're not actually wasting anything when you're cooking, instead of buying a whole bunch of one ingredient and then end up using just only half of it. This is all pre-portioned, so everything that you get, you're going to use up, which is fantastic and so helpful when you're cooking and not wanting to waste food. So here you can actually see that we have made the tortellini pasta. We're just making the sauce, adding some pasta water in there to make it really nice and creamy. And then we're going to add my favorite ingredient ever, Raise your hand if you're a Parmesan cheese lover, because I am obsessed. I put it on pretty much everything. And so this obviously makes my heart so happy. We love Parmesan cheese. And then we're going to just add the roasted veggies back in. And there you go, you guys. It is so good. I'm literally drooling just like rewatching this footage. It is just so good. So if you guys want to try HelloFresh, all you have to do is go to HelloFresh.com and use our promo code Saleh16, and that'll get you up to 16 free meals across 7 boxes, plus surprise gifts. So definitely check it out, you guys. I'll leave that in the description and you can follow and try it.
So good.
HelloFresh recipes never disappoint. The veggies are cooked perfect. I love the taste of the pesto. This is probably one of my favorite recipes from HelloFresh. I've made this like 4 or 5 times. It's so good. Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed that recipe. Thank you again to HelloFresh for sponsoring that part of the video.
And hopefully you're not too hungry to sit around for the rest of this video.
So the next 2 things that we regret. Number 1
would be spending too much money.
Yeah. So although I wouldn't say we spent an exorbitant amount.
It wasn't extravagant?
No, it was actually pretty basic. We did a lot of the stuff on our own, but we did spend money on a decorator. And like making sure things looked really pretty. And I personally, looking back at that now, I don't see a need to do that.
Yeah. Well, and also because of the fact that we really only wanted one day anyway. So there was like 3-4 other days that we had to finance that at the end
we had a decorator for everything.
We didn't really care for it and didn't really want it. So that would be another one. And finally, not spending money on a proper photographer. We had a photographer. She was great in what she did. How do we not have any pictures? Then?
But she was just brand new at what she was doing. And I think we shot for like an hour on 2 separate days.
But nothing at the actual event.
Nothing at the event. So it's like our wedding like didn't even happen.
Exist.
Like, we took some, like we had some from like family, but we didn't actually have anyone come to our wedding. So that was like...
No. We didn't have any photographer come to our wedding.
That's what I meant.
No, people. Do all of this and then there's nobody there.
Yeah,
What's the point?
back then, like I would say photography, like it existed, but it wasn't like so sophisticated like it is now, like where you get the immaculate wedding photos and like...
No, again, where we're from, there's not a lot of options.
There's not a lot of options where you used to live.
It's not like where we live now, where you can have a whole smorgasbord.
You can have a videographer and a person that does a trailer and blah blah all that. We had none of that. Yeah. So that's actually something that I miss doing. So if you're thinking of nipping the money when it comes to pictures for yourself, don't. Yeah. That's my recommendation. Is like
you will want
spend the money in that area.
Life.
Yeah, because you want those photos. You want to show your kids what your special day looked like. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. And then...
And that's pretty much it. So what we would do now is maybe give you guys a little bit of advice. We have been married for 9 years and we did go through all of that. So if something that we can kind of say to help you guys out in your journey, it might be beneficial. So the number 1 thing I would say is recognize and understand differences of opinion and how you relate to them. Obviously within the limits, but do what makes you happy and what you think is correct according to something, obviously, right? Again, like we mentioned, whether that's music or having a mixed wedding. This is your time. You know what I mean? You don't want to look back with regret on the day where you're supposed to be so happy.
Yeah.
That would probably be my biggest advice.
Yeah. And hopefully, I don't know if Will's going to pull this off, but he's saying for our 10th anniversary next year that he's going to give me my dream wedding. The wedding that I actually wanted, not the wedding that I did for other people.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
So I'm looking forward to that because 2 of our friends are also celebrating their 10th year anniversary at the same time. So we might do like one big shebang. Like it might be really fun.
Maybe we'll invite all you guys.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe. That would be wild. And then my biggest piece of advice over everything is nowadays weddings are becoming really extravagant. And although there's nothing wrong with wanting to spend money for your wedding. My opinion, looking back now, is I wish we would have just had that simple nikah and just moved on with our lives. Like, I wish we didn't wait 6 months and then do the reception and do this and do that and do that and all these things. Like, I wish it would have just been kept simple. I wish we had a photographer for our nikah, which we didn't at all. And that's it. Just moved on. Like, and gotten on with life.
Don't break the rules, right? We as Muslims, we have rules that we have to follow. And so, like they say, know your limit, play within it, right? And you don't want to look back at your wedding. You know, if, for example, you have, you know, the men and women are mixed dancing on the, you know, bumping and grinding on the dance floor or whatever. And then you look back 10 years, 20 years, and your kids are getting married and you're just kind of like shaking your head about how the whole thing went down. You know, think long term. So don't do things that you wouldn't be happy or proud of later on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely, for sure. So in hindsight, looking back, wish we would have had an actual photographer for our wedding. Wish we would have just done our nikah and made it a little bit more fancy, but kept it to one day.
Music, mixing.
Yeah, music. When he says mixing, he means like having everybody together, like all of our families together in one room celebrating. Having a little bit of music, and that's pretty much it. I think it would have been amazing. But alhamdulillah for everything. We learned from everything, and we are where we are today because of that stuff.
So alhamdulillah for all of it.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yes.
Move on.
All right. So let us know, you guys, if you are married, what regrets do you have? Because these videos are actually really interesting to watch. I like hearing perspectives from other people. Leave that down in the comment section below.
Yep, and we will see you guys later. But right now, we're going to go eat some HelloFresh.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum.